我的要求其实也不是特别高，就1.8米以上，然后长得帅一点皮肤白一点那个眼睛大一点最好，眼睛小也行。主要是有责任心，得幽默，能跟我玩到一块儿。那个哪儿人无所谓，但是得有自己的事业，是不是这个要求有点高了？
这个视频里面的女生，你会娶她吗？
Would you really marry this girl based on her requirements in this video? As a man, let me analyze what she means. My requirements aren't actually that high. This is meant as a prelude, so the listeners can agree with her. She wants a man who's at least 1.8 meters tall, because she feels that the male lead in movies and TV shows are always tall. However, in real life, the proportion of men taller than 1.8 meters is less than 20%. Then, she says he should be a bit handsome, have fair skin, and preferably big eyes. Her main point is that the man has to be good-looking, just handsome. Don't worry about how I look, but my boyfriend absolutely has to be good-looking. Then, the man should be responsible, humorous, and have a similar personality to hers. What she means is that the man not only needs to be responsible for himself and the marriage, but he must also love her wholeheartedly. Furthermore, this man should be an interesting person, cultured, with eloquent speech. She further specifies that it doesn't matter where the man is from, but he must have a solid career. What this really means is that she doesn't care where you're from. What matters is that you have money. Ideally, you should be the boss or a businessman who is in control of your own destiny. But that's not all. She also adds that she will frequently check her man's phone. This shows that she has a very strong need for control, lacks confidence, and is prone to trust issues. This mindset might be influenced by too many fairy tales and movies. In her mind, the ideal man is like the perfect prince who arrives on a white horse to meet her. As for the girl herself, what is her situation like? Her family is very well off. She was born in 1985, but she feels she looks much younger than her actual age. She works as an actress in the film industry, though in reality, she's just an extra. Her parents have always spoiled her, and provided a great deal of financial and emotional support. As the only daughter, her family even praises her while she eats, encouraging her with every little thing she does. Even when she washes the dishes, they say, "You did great." Whenever she gets angry, her parents immediately stop talking and don't dare to speak again. She mentioned that she's attended many matchmaking events, but she always feels that the quality of the men keeps declining, making her uncomfortable, as though she's sitting on pins and needles. At the end of the video, she still hopes that her dream prince will come to find her riding on a white horse. In fact, men and women have completely different definitions of an ideal partner. Women usually require the partner to have height, wealth, and good looks, as well as humor, good social skills, a sense of responsibility, and the ability to tolerate all their flaws, even their little temper. On the other hand, men's definitions of an ideal partner are much simpler: young, beautiful, gentle, and ideally understanding, low maintenance, and unpretentious. Finally, to the girl in the video, it's fine to wait for the right person, but you need to understand what value you can offer to the other person. Get clear on that.
今天相亲相了一个36岁的大龄剩女，我朋友介绍的。
Today I went on a blind date, and my date was a 36-year-old older single woman, introduced by my friend. Her requirements were very specific and quite high. First, she demanded that the man have 700,000 yuan in savings and own a fully paid-off house. Additionally, the car must be worth over 500,000 yuan, and the monthly salary must exceed 20,000 yuan. She said that she wasn't too concerned about matters of emotions and didn't want to discuss things like character and personal cultivation, as she thought these were unrealistic nonsense. She especially emphasized that a relationship should be practical, and she said her own time was precious. She didn't want to waste time on unnecessary discussions. In the end, my friend patted me on the shoulder, signaling that it was time for us to leave. So, I quickly left and rode my electric bike back home.
现在有很多男生过来找对象，不管他自己有没有超过30岁。
Nowadays, many boys have a common standard when choosing a partner, which is that regardless of whether they are over 30 years old, they cannot accept a girl over 30. Do you know why? A few days ago, I asked a 32-year-old guy this question. Let's see how he answered. This guy gave me 3 reasons, and especially the last one, he found particularly hard to accept. The first reason is that he believes girls over 30 tend to be more greedy. They want everything but never consider their actual conditions. Their requirements are getting higher and higher. For example, they demand the guy to own a house and a car, have a stable job. These are already standard configurations. In addition, they expect the guy to be tall and handsome, capable of providing emotional value, and have a solid financial foundation. Even their parents must have retirement pensions, and their family background needs to be good. Now, let's think about it. If there is a guy with such good conditions, would he still be left behind? Even if he is left alone, why wouldn't he go after a 25-year-old girl? Why would he choose to find a 35-year-old older leftover woman? The second reason is that girls over 30 tend to have a strong sense of vanity. They see what others have, and they believe they must have it too. For example, if her best friend marries a wealthy man, she would want to find a husband even wealthier than her friend's husband. Additionally, some girls know they are older now, so they start to lower their dating requirements, but they still don't dare to truly lower their standards. Why? Because they are afraid of being ridiculed, afraid that people will laugh at them for once being picky, and now settling for someone less ideal. I think girls don't need to care so much about what others think of them. As long as it's a good match and they are happy, why should they care so much about external judgments? This is a typical example of keeping face and suffering in silence. The third reason is about the strict requirements older leftover women have for the guys' conditions. Some girls demand perfection from the guys. Even the slightest flaw is unacceptable to them. For example, they demand the guy to be at least 1.75 meters tall. If he is only 1.74 meters, they wouldn't even give him the chance to meet. This guy said he himself has encountered this situation and thinks these older leftover women are being too picky and unrealistic. What do you think of this guy's viewpoint? Do you think it makes sense?
千万不要追一个一无所有的30加的女人，因为你追不到。
Everyone, please don't pursue a woman in her 30s with poor economic conditions, because you won't be able to win her over. Today, I'm summarizing my 2024 blind date experiences and reflecting on my efforts in finding a partner and improving my financial situation. For me, improving my financial condition seems somewhat easier than getting into a relationship. The following thoughts represent my personal opinion, and if you disagree, please refrain from overly intense rebuttals. In my blind dates this year, I met some women whose financial conditions were better than mine, and some whose conditions were worse. Most women either had a mortgage and no savings, or neither a house, car, nor savings. Some had both a house and a car, and their economic conditions were quite good. However, no matter what their economic conditions were, their requirements for men were almost identical. They must have a house, a car, savings, and a job. I originally thought about finding a woman with similar economic conditions to mine, so at least I wouldn't feel too much psychological pressure. But I didn't expect that these women wouldn't even look at me. Despite earning only 3,000 or 4,000 yuan a month, they had a very proud attitude and had a lot of demands. She expected me to actively pursue her, create a sense of ceremony, and prove my love for her. For example, she wanted me to send her good morning messages every day, give her gifts during holidays, and even buy her the first cup of milk tea in autumn with a sense of ceremony. But the problem is, all of these things were things I did on my own initiative, and the result was her lukewarm attitude. I just felt exhausted from it. In contrast, those women whose economic conditions were better than mine were more direct and rational. If, after spending some time together, they felt that we weren't a good match, they would directly state that we were not compatible, which saved a lot of unnecessary trouble and entanglements. After all, we're all over 30 now, and we've chosen blind dating to end our single life. Deep down, who wants to tolerate unreasonable demands from the other person? Everyone hopes to find a suitable partner and not waste too much time and energy in the relationship. As for the old-fashioned fantasy of a good wife supporting her husband's ambitions, I no longer believe in it. Furthermore, the romantic story of a domineering CEO falling in love with a 30-year-old capricious and willful woman simply doesn't exist in my life.
哎呀，我刚相亲回来了，真的气得我肝肠寸断。我遇到了一个奇葩女的。
Oh my god, friends. I just came back from a blind date and I am absolutely furious. I have to vent to you all about this strange woman I met today. She's 35 years old and works as a nurse. My classmate introduced her to me, saying that she works in a psychiatric hospital. Honestly, when I first heard this, I wasn't really eager to meet her. We're not discriminating against the nursing profession. Nurses are healthcare angels, but just the thought of her working in a psychiatric hospital made me uneasy. I mean, working in a psychiatric hospital, dealing mostly with patients who have mental health issues. It just felt like there might be something unresolved in her mind. But my friend said, "Oh, don't be so picky. This girl is 1.69 meters tall, has a good figure, fair skin, and is very cute." When I heard this, I suddenly felt a glimmer of hope, because as you all know, I personally like taller women. Hearing that, I was elated and thought I might have found the right person. Later, my friend showed me a photo of her, and I thought she was pretty cute and fit my type. So, I decided not to be too picky about her job. My friend gave me her WeChat ID, and over the next few days, we chatted a few times. But as we talked, I began to realize that her thoughts were a bit strange. Why do I say that? Because she knew that I'm currently not working, that I'm a freelancer, and that I have 3 properties and 800,000 yuan in savings. My properties and interest income would allow me to live comfortably for the rest of my life. Yet, this woman actually made a request. She said, "Can you promise me one thing? When we meet, could you always be available on short notice?" I was stunned and she explained, "Because I'm very busy at work, if I suddenly want to see you, can you come to my hospital right away?" At that moment I thought she was a bit strange, asking for such a thing, catching me off guard. But then, thinking it over, I didn't think it was a big deal. After all, her hospital isn't far from my place. It's only about a half-hour drive. So I decided to give it a try since I didn't have anything else to do. This morning, she suddenly messaged me. "I really want to see you, can you come to the hospital?" I had just stayed up late and was a bit groggy, but I still decided to go see her. I freshened up, put on my best clothes, and made a special effort to dress well. This time, I made up my mind to look good, not wanting to miss this opportunity. I arrived at the hospital lobby and texted her, "I'm waiting downstairs, come down quickly." She replied, "Why are you waiting downstairs?" I thought, I'm a man, I should be the one taking the initiative, so I replied, "Which floor are you on?" "I'll come up to find you." She responded, "Why do you need to come up to find me?" Brothers, my brain nearly exploded. She wouldn't let me wait downstairs, nor would she let me come upstairs to find her. She was completely disregarding me. Isn't that frustrating? This woman is just too weird. By now I was already pretty annoyed, but I bit my tongue and asked her, "Then how are we supposed to meet? You won't come down, and you won't let me go up." She actually replied, "Just stand by the flower bed outside the lobby. I can see you through the window upstairs. For our first meeting, I just want to see you through the window from upstairs." I was absolutely livid. This woman wanted me to stand outside the lobby, far away, and look at her through the window. She was clearly messing with me. I've been on a lot of blind dates, but never have I been treated like such a fool. Clearly, she was screening me unilaterally. She could see me, but I couldn't see her. Although I had seen her photos before, they were all beautified, and the real her was totally unclear. I was so angry that I asked her directly, "What do you mean by this? Are you testing me?" She replied, "Just stand by the flower bed outside. If I like you, then next time you need to be available on short notice. If I'm not interested, you can just go home and don't bother asking me out to dinner. We won't waste each other's time." At this point I was absolutely furious, thinking to myself, what did I do wrong to deserve this kind of torture? I immediately asked her, "What if you do like me?" She said, "If I like you, next time you'll have to be available on short notice, and we can meet to talk properly." My God, this woman is crazy. I asked her, "Why are you doing this to me?" And she responded, "I'm using this method to test whether you're a calm and gentle person, whether your emotions are stable." I was so furious I could barely contain myself, and I told her, "Enough, I'm done with this. I'm blocking you." Then, I angrily drove home. Not long after I got home, my friend called me and told me that this woman had gone to him and complained, saying that I went to her hospital but didn't meet her. Hearing this, I couldn't believe it. She started the trouble, but now she was shifting the blame onto me. Classic case of the evil person blaming the other first. I was so mad that I started yelling at my friend. What kind of strange woman did you introduce me to? She made me run errands, treating me like a fool. My friend tried to advise me, telling me that as a man, I should be more magnanimous and patient with this goddess. I was so furious. I snapped, why should I put up with her? Why won't she let me come up to see her? My head was about to explode. I told my friend not to introduce any more girls to me. Even now, I'm still very angry, I can't calm down. Friends, do you think this woman is strange or not? My luck is really terrible.
When a woman is over 30, men basically don't need to pursue her anymore. Because even if you give it your all, it's very hard to win her heart. Women at this age have already experienced a lot of pressure from society and many things they have already seen through. They have become realistic and mature. Your little tricks and schemes won't work in their eyes. What's more, if a woman over 30 is still single, it means her requirements are high, and not just anyone can win her over. Think about it. At this age, her family is probably already urging her to get married. Maybe they've been pressuring her for several years. After waiting for so many years and still not finding the right person, those men who have tried to pursue her couldn't change her mind. Why do you think you're the one who can be different? Moreover, older women may have already had quite a few romantic experiences, and they might have been in several relationships. There have also been many men who pursued them. Why do you think that since so many men before you failed, you will be able to win her heart as soon as you try? Honestly, what makes you better than those men? And women over 30, generally speaking, have gone through a lot, and they are more mature in their mindset, more clear-headed about relationships, and harder to move emotionally. For example, let's say you spend 2,000 yuan pursuing a younger girl. You buy her a cup of milk tea, take her out for some snacks, or treat her to a big meal. That might be enough to touch her, and she might develop feelings for you and even start dating you. But if you spend that same 2,000 yuan on a woman over 30, an older single woman, she may find you immature and stingy. She might think, you think you can win me over with such a small amount of money? This kind of behavior will only make her feel that you're not mature enough, and she might even think you're not worth her time. In the end, it's just a case of a meat bun thrown at a dog, no return. In short, for older single women, their experiences, knowledge, and mindset determine that they are difficult to pursue. They're not just going to settle for you cheaply. If you don't want to pursue such high difficulty women, maybe it's best to leave them alone. Do you agree with my viewpoint? Feel free to leave your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we will continue to bring you better content. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.